The reason most home gardeners never get the yields they are hoping for is not a lack of effort. It is a lack of the right biological support. They fertilize, they water, they prune, and they still end up with weak, fragile plants. Stay with this video and you will know exactly what this ingredient is, how to prepare it, and the one mistake that cancels out every benefit if you miss it. The ingredient is Brewer's yeast. Yeah, that same stuff in every supermarket baking aisle. The exact thing used to make bread rise or beer ferment. I mean, the idea sounds ridiculous at first, right? Yeast is a food product, not something you normally associate with gardening. But that is exactly why old school farmers who quietly used it for decades never had much competition. Nobody else took it seriously enough to try. The living microorganisms inside Brewer's yeast do not feed your plants directly, the way a fertilizer would. Instead, they interact with the living ecosystem already in your soil, stimulating microbial activity and creating the kind of underground environment where plants can pull in nutrients far more efficiently than they normally would. Think of it this way. It is the difference between adding fuel to a car. A repaired engine uses every drop of fuel better. Soil primed with yeast uses every nutrient already in the ground more effectively. For tomatoes specifically, whose entire yield depends on how strong and deep the root system grows, that difference shows up dramatically come harvest time. But knowing what it is only gets you halfway there. The preparation is where most people go wrong and end up seeing absolutely nothing happen. The preparation has 4 steps, and each one matters. Start with approximately 30 grams of Brewer's yeast. 1 standard block is about right, though dry soluble packets work just as well. Dissolve it in 1 glass of lukewarm water. And look, the temperature really matters here, you know. Too hot and the living organisms die before they ever reach the soil. Too cold and they simply fail to activate. Lukewarm, comfortable on the back of your hand, is what you need. Once dissolved, add roughly 1 tablespoon of sugar. The moment the sugar goes in, the mixture starts to ferment. You can literally see it happen. Small bubbles form, the liquid starts to thicken, and that visible activity is the yeast coming alive. The sugar acts as both a trigger and a food source, giving those microorganisms the energy they need to multiply. Let the whole thing sit for 30 minutes. It will thicken noticeably while you wait. After that, dilute it into 10 full litres of water, stir well, and apply directly to the base of each plant. The root zone, not the leaves, not the stem, just the soil right at the base, that is where it needs to go. Now here is the part most guides on this topic completely leave out, and it is honestly the reason some people try this, see great results early on, and then watch their plants start to struggle 2 months later. Brewer's yeast draws calcium and potassium out of the soil, not dramatically, not overnight, but over repeated applications, the depletion builds up and starts to show. Calcium deficiency in tomatoes shows up as blossom end rot, you know, that dark sunken patch on the bottom of the fruit that ruins an otherwise perfect harvest. Potassium deficiency shows up as yellowing at the leaf edges and poor fruit quality overall. The fix is simple and basically free. Ground eggshells give you calcium. Dry them, crush them, and work them into the soil around your plants. Wood ash gives you potassium. Apply both at the start of each month alongside the yeast treatment and you are covered. I mean, the treatment works really well. You just have to manage the full picture, not only one part of it. And then there is one last piece, honestly the simplest thing in this whole video, And it is the one that decides whether any of this actually pays off in your garden. Once a month is the right frequency. Not weekly, not every 2 weeks. Once a month, consistently, throughout the growing season. More frequent, and you accelerate the mineral depletion we just talked about, and you end up doing more harm than good. One treatment per month is what lets the improvement build steadily over time. The other piece, and I mean this one really matters, do not start by treating your entire garden. Pick 2 or 3 tomato plants and apply the treatment only to those for the first round. Leave the rest untreated and watch both groups side by side over the following weeks. Every garden is different soil, different conditions, different baseline. Look at leaf colour, vigour, stem thickness, and eventually fruit set. When the difference becomes obvious, and it will, that is when you extend it to your whole garden with full confidence. If you are already growing tomatoes this season, drop a comment below. Have you ever tried anything like this before? Or is this the first time you are hearing about it? And if this video was useful to you, hit subscribe so you do not miss what is coming next.